then eventually those destructive emotion which not as a sound basis, so automatically reduce. So now that I think among the scientists, till later part of 20th century, they never pay much attention about mind. Then later part of 20th century, more and more scientists now paying more attention about mind. Previously, they simply felt only brain, no such thing, mind. Then later part of 20th century, now they witness or the experiment those meditation. You see, through their meditation, their brain some change. So now, later part of 20th century, scientists also now they begin to feel, there is something which affects our brain. So all those grosser level of mind, such as senses of organs, you see, we cannot sort of develop infinite way. But sixth mind, India we call chit, you see, mind. Now that we usually call sixth mind, not senses of organs. So the chit mind can develop through meditation and through vipassana, through samatha and vipassana. So the samatha, without much sort of investigate, simply remain your mind, not follow senses of organs, but sixth mind itself. And at the beginning, you feel something empty because we always, use senses of organs. When senses of organs, they no longer work, then or concentrate on sixth mind, then at that moment you feel something empty. But gradually, when you get some experience, your mind remain in the sixth mind, not depend on senses of organs, but mind, sixth mind. I already have my friend, they can sit on sixth mind 2-3 hours without using sense of organs. So gradually, some of these people gain some deeper experiences. So now, the scientists also now accept, there is mind, whether you call mind or whatever way, which affect our brain. With that, now compassion, not sense of organs, but part of sixth mind. So now, a number of scientists, including sort of brain specialists, now they begin realize or accept there is what I call mind, or India chit, or sixth mind. Now they begin to accept. With that, they also now accept the value of compassion. And previously, the scientists not much pay attention about compassion. Now, later part of 20th century, is a compassionate mind bring inner peace, inner strength. and based on reason. So you can practice that and increasing year by year. The anger, jealousy, very powerful, but come, go, not on sound basis. Do you have some experience, meditate on anger? But we can meditate on compassion, isn't it? So that differences, destructive emotion, all the certain, very powerful. But if you think more, you see, it cannot remain. The positive emotion, sound basis, so think more, it increase its strength. Through that way, anger reduce, fear reduce. I myself, now 85-year-old monk, a follower of Buddha Dharma, and particularly the Nalanda tradition. So the training of mind, Buddhism, Nalanda tradition is actually way to training our mind. So now important is this training our mind should consider secular or not religious subject. But usually you see people, when they heard shamatha, vipassana, they usually felt that is something religious. No, this is an academic subject. How to take our mind, how to keep peace of mind. Not talking about God, not talking Buddha, not talking next life, but this very life, day by day, how to keep peace of mind. And if may I say so, peace of mind and with smile. So as I mentioned earlier, the last now 50 years, I meditate karuna, compassion. So the result, blood pressure never high, very low. And sleep, very sound sleep. And the digestion, very good. So these mental sort of peace really affect our body. So taking care about our health, I think should include about mind, how to keep peace of mind. Okay. So now, today's world, I usually feel that compare previous century, I think this century more peaceful. And previous century, First World War, Second World War, and then people, including scientists, you see, spent much time how to build destructive weapon like nuclear weapon. Now that is gone. Now many people now seriously thinking nuclear weapon should eliminate, like that. And now some killing, small violence there. But these we can change. You see, these thinking, these emotion, if we start education about the hygiene of emotion from kindergarten, then you see those people, those students who study these things, then gradually they feel violence is almost self-destruction. You see, in the past, kings and queens, and sometimes including religious leaders, they use immensely violence. At the First World War, Second World War, you see, use sort of immense violence. But you see, violence produces another violence. Non-violence really the true answer for violence. Violence, counter-violence, no end, more suffering. So now we have to, now time come, we have to think our the intellectual mind, and you see, violence is no way to gain something. So this world should create peaceful world, and with that, eventually, this world should be demilitarized world. It is possible, step by step. Now, many people on this planet, you see, I think generally they are thinking, general sort of mental attitude, 7 billion human beings, one human community. So like modern economy, global economy, no national boundary. That's the reality. Then now more important, more urgent is the global warming. So you see, no demarcation according different nationality. Whole world now facing. So now, today, we really need a sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. So now, a weapon, no use. So eventually, this century should be a century of dialogue. Whenever we find some different views, and then through dialogue, try to solve mutually agreeable solution. Now, using weapon, we through many centuries we use weapon. Now, we should feel fed up. So, eventually, I think this world should be demilitarized world. Okay. So this is my usual sort of thinking. But you see, those monks, you see, in Tibet, 1949, and also 50, 55, 56, as a monk also, you see, because of the participate fighting. So there is some sort of word, soldier of yellow monk. Sarma, yellow army, like that. So now these are, you see, past. Now we should, through education, so the mainly, ultimately, question of your own peace of mind, your own happy mind. And wherever you live, so we are social animal. So our survival entirely depends on the community. So one individual, through reasoning, through training, committed fully non-violence, then your community also, you see, can share. Through that way, eventually, whole world can be more peaceful, firm believer about non-violence. So that's my prayer, that's my wish. So it is possible now. Everything through education. I feel today the existing education, mainly from modern education, start from West. So Western civilization, you see, mainly, you see, the materialistic thinking. So now in education, we should include the education about our inner world, inner peace, inner health, mental health. Okay. Now you are Sri Lanka. Oh, you see, we have to think or discuss. And one of my commitment is I'm trying to revival of ancient Indian knowledge, Indian tradition, non-violence and compassion over 3,000 years. Now this should include in education, like that. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Holiness.
Thank you, Your Holiness, for enlightening us with your wise words. I could listen to you all day. We will now move on to the questions and answers.
Nice.
And the first question is from Vitsu-san.
Karsa. Yes.
Hello, Your Holiness. It is an honor to meet you. Happy belated birthday. I'm Vitsu-san. I'm a police officer from Wembley Police Station based in Northwest London. My question to you today is, as police officers and staff, we deal with conflict and witness horrible, disturbing crimes on a daily basis. How does one still find balance and inner peace in these situations?
Karsa. Catches. At the moment, because our negligence about our inner value in education, so you see, the generation who haven't opportunity to learn about inner peace, then some crisis in the society. So, if you see someone, you see showing sword or something, and you see you cannot remain compassion, then you will lose. So if the other side, you see, carries some violent way, unfortunately, then you also should have appropriate sort of countermeasure. So at present sort of generation, because of negligence in the past, so now these problems which we are facing, it is not sufficient just to complain and counter violence is no use. We have to think future through education, as I mentioned earlier. Then the whole society, more peaceful, more compassionate society can develop through education. So at present, it's difficult because we much neglect these inner value. Okay. Okay. Next question.
Thank you, Your Holiness. And the next question is from Pauline.
Kodo.
Oh, sorry, the next question is from Victoria.
Where? Oh, yes.
Your Holiness, I'm a police officer and I work in communities in London. I first became interested in meditation when I visited your temple in McLeod-Ganj, Dharamsala, 10 years before I became a police officer. And I would like to help other officers with the peace I find with it. My question is, what advice could you give to police recruits just starting in their careers to help them keep their faith in humanity when, as a police officer, we tend to see the worst in humanity?
We have to judge according to reality. The society, more violent sort of society, then police also you have to act according to that. But you see, you should carry with sincere motivation. Even if you use the bad survey. Yeah, what? Bad. You see, you should keep sort of sense of compassion about that troublemaker. You see, for the time being, you see, there is no other way to stop their violent action, so you use the stick like that. So at the present situation, because as I mentioned earlier, our negligence in the past, so now whole society is not much thinking. If you say compassion, the people consider there's signs of weakness. So, according to the present sort of circumstances, you have to act. But police individual can keep peace of mind as much as possible. Okay. I think you can see, you see, as a Tibetan monastery, there are some wrathful deities. You see, suppose they are full of compassion, but according to the circumstances, you see, they show wrathful face. Yes.
Thank you, Your Holiness. And the next question is from Pauline.
Good morning, Your Holiness. I'm very grateful to be talking to you today and the opportunity to ask you a question. I've worked for the police as a crime scene manager for many, many years. Working in forensics, my question is, working in forensics, I attend many murder scenes and crime scenes on a daily basis. What advice would you offer to those that deal with death and sadness every day in their policing career?
가사 미세야 돼. As I mentioned earlier, now I always was mentioning the European Union in the past and even 20th century, like France and Germany, you see, killing each other. So eventually, Adenauer and de Gaulle, during war, arch enemy. But then they become more mature and they thinking a union of Europe. So as a result, development of European Union, at least the member state of the European Union, no longer any killing. So now we taking past experience and even if today's world, still violence there. So then we have to develop determination to develop peaceful world and reduce these violence. So I feel ultimately related with education. That's most important. So we should not discourage the today's event, you see, killing or murdering, seeing these things, then instead of demoralize, must develop more determination, more willpower. Otherwise, there's no future. If 7 million human beings remain nation to nation, killing each other, what value? So just ignorant, because of the emotion, most destructive emotion is very much ignorant. So therefore, we can change these things. We should not demoralize. When we seeing these negative things, unfortunate things, we must develop more determination. Okay. Yes?
Thank you, Your Holiness. The next question is from Jack.
Good morning, Your Holiness. I wish you a very blessed and happy belated birthday. My name is Jack, and I'm a police officer in London, and I work in the area of public protection. My question to you is, have you ever doubted yourself in your role as a spiritual leader? And what advice can you give for someone who may be doubting themselves and their abilities? Thank you.
Because spiritual leaders also. I always, you see, feeling, one sense I'm just one human being. I'm one of the 7 billion human beings. So mentally, emotionally, physically, 7 billion human beings are same. So I have the opportunity to study about this mental system and how to tackle destructive emotion. So that I really feel because fortunate. Actually, number of people, look, India, generally speaking, I think all different religious traditions live together on this country. Occasionally some killing, but generally I think quite peaceful. Hindu, Jain, Buddhism, and then Zoroastrian, and then Christian, Christianity, and the Muslim, and Judaism, all major religious traditions, you see, live together on this planet. So Indian Muslim, I never saw any Indian Muslim, you see, complain Shia and Sunni. And next India, the killing in the name of Shia and Sunni. So these same sort of as a follower of Quran, but you see, there also the knowledge or from childhood in India, the Indian Muslim from childhood they know there are many different religious traditions. Whereas in Muslim country, only one religion. Now here we must sort of educate people There are many religious traditions, many different philosophy. All carry same message of love. So, Indian Muslim, they already, as I mentioned earlier, already know there are many different religious traditions. Whereas in Muslim world, it's only one religion. Now here, we should also know the concept of one religion and concept of several religions. In isolated country, then okay, sense of one religion, okay. But now today, the whole world interrelated. So now we must have a concept of several religions, like that. So these are, again, through education, and also you see tourists. You see go different places and seeing different situation. So therefore, I think it may take time, but can change, because the thinking, the concept of several religion, it is realistic sort of thinking, and there is basis, all different religious tradition, you see, inspired in different philosophy, but all carry same message of love. All religion carry that. So things will change. I'm hopeful. More contact, that's important. Should not remain isolated. Okay.
Thank you, Your Holiness. The next question is from Helen.
Good morning, Your Holiness. Thank you so much for this really unique opportunity. My question for you this morning is, what advice and encouragement would you give to women in policing in a male-dominated organisation?
Oh, I usually, you see, telling female is symbol of love. Our mother is the symbol of love, isn't it? Without a mother's milk, we can't survive. So female is symbol of love, compassion. So sometimes I express the world leader should be female. Like now, Norwegian, the Prime Minister, female. I wrote a letter. So I think biologically, physically, now some scientists, they sort of tested a group of people seeing one picture. You see, the one person, tremendous sort of suffering, and that picture seen by group of people. Then physical level, the response, female physical response, much stronger. Then historically also, you see, we can see all ancient warrior, all these, also the warrior somewhere, heroes, warrior, most of them are male. Even today, butcher, killing animal, most of them male. So female represent human love, human compassion. So now, time come, we have to sort of make every effort to promote human love. So female should take more active role regarding promotion of human compassion, human love. This I feel. Some female, oh, warrior. That's the exception. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Holiness. The next question is from Nengi.
Good morning, Your Holiness, and thank you so much for this unique opportunity. I'm a Safer Schools police officer in Camden. My role involves building good police relationships with students and their families, helping to keep them safe, and tackling youth violence. My question is, what advice would you have given your 16-year-old self? And what advice do you give the school children of today?
As I already mentioned, our education should include how to take care about the hygiene of emotion, besides hygiene of physical emotion. And that not something religious matter, but it is something question of inner peace, inner health. So now education should include real destroyer of our health is fear, anger, and opposite, how to build healthy body, healthy mind, more compassion, forgiveness. So one Indian master mentioned, your enemy, your troublemaker, is actually your best teacher. So these are very wise thinking. So in education, should include these things for education about inner health. So I usually, expressing one of my commitment is try to revival of ancient Indian knowledge, non-violence, and karuna or compassion should include education field. Now India, all these ancient sort of very rich knowledge about mind, these so-called, now India, modern education is a completely neglect about these ancient Indian knowledge. Now India have the opportunity to combine the ancient Indian knowledge and modern education oriented about material value, ancient Indian knowledge oriented about our peace of mind. This should combine. So then, firstly, within India, should try to combine these two things. Then eventually can show rest of the world in education about material value, education about our inner value, like that. And India's concept secular, without touching any religion, like that. So education is the key thing. I think we can see some nation in education is in the name of nationalism, and then sometimes is too much emotion, like that. So education really makes differences. Okay.
Thank you, Your Holiness. The next question is from Philip.
Good morning, Your Holiness. Thank you so much for giving your time to speak to us at this difficult time. My name's Philip. I'm a sergeant working across London with young people to try to encourage them to see the police differently and to maybe join us and bring us their talents and abilities. My question is, suicide is the single biggest killer of men aged under 45 in the country. What can we do to support the mental health of young men?
I think the young people is in the society too much sense of competition and sort of looking material value. And then young people less patience. So then when they're facing some problem and feel frustration, then they suicide. So these, I think, education, basically education, and the society, the pattern or the situation about society makes differences. Now these present society way of life, way of thinking is, you see, just materialistic sort of education. So now time, it is not sort of sufficient just to complain. We must think seriously how to prevent this in the future through education. These are sort of the suicide emotion, too much desire, and thinking short-sighted, and then suicide. So I think education really makes differences. I feel that. If I have no such sort of knowledge, then in my lifetime, a lot of problems. So I may take suicide. But these, the ancient Indian education about mind really, you see, makes differences. So again, education, very important. We can't blame the younger generation who come from that kind of education and who live in the materialistic society. Then there is desire, but much less patience, and then suicide. Okay.
Thank you, Your Holiness.